Welcome to Commanding on a Budget. Today's budget pick is Mad Prophet. Blue decks wouldn't touch this guy with a 10-foot pole, but in a red deck he's a great option for some extra card filtering. His 4 mana cost would kill his playability, but he has haste to make up for it. Let's talk about life gain in Commander for a moment, shall we? First off, let's make one thing clear. Cards that do nothing but gain life will almost never be as good as cards that cause damage to your opponents or their creatures. It becomes even less relevant to pad your life total when you already start at a healthy 40 points, not to mention the wealth of combos available in Commander that can cause infinite damage or bypass your life total completely. That being said, Commander is still a format that's all about maximizing your resources, and the act of gaining life can trigger more than enough effects to make a good deck. This Trostani deck is built to take advantage of every single life gain trigger. She likely won't kill anyone with commander damage, but she can gain tons of life and make tokens. One thing's for certain, you probably won't want to use dice to keep track of your life with this deck. Soul's Attendant, Soul Warden, and Essence Warden. Every creature means another point of life with this trio of 1-drops. Healer of the Pride. A bigger Soul Warden with twice the life gain. Spike Feeder. Use this little guy to pump up your life a little, preferably while blocking something big and scary. Grazing Gladeheart and Shattered Angel. 4 players hitting land drops has never been sweeter. Alabaster Mage. Turn your excess mana into life gain from your biggest and scariest creatures. Wall of Reverence. Speaking of life gain from big creatures, this flying defender is at its best when hanging out on your side of the battlefield with a fatty or two. Pristine Talisman. Mana rocks are good. Mana rocks that also gain you 1 life per turn are even better. Rock's Faithmender and Boon Reflection. What's better than gaining 1 billion life? Gaining 2 billion life, of course. Noble Purpose. The best part of this card isn't the massive life swings, it's the fact that it doesn't give your creatures lifelink, allowing you to gain twice the life during combat. Angelic Chorus. This enchantment inspired Trostani's first ability, and later we'll talk about an old-school combo featuring this card. Proper Burial helps make those inevitable board wipes a little less painful. Soul's Grace. Instant speed life gain in a commander deck? It's more likely than you think, especially with a spell that can target enormous creatures. Sorry, Heroes Reunion, but 7 life just isn't enough for us. Suture Priest. Similar to the Attendants and the Wardens, Suture Priest can boost your life total, but it also gives your opponents a little pause before they play creatures of their own. Those 1 damage pings add up quickly. Chalice of Life and Death. Drinks all around. Refreshment for you will quickly turn into a surprisingly fast poison for your opponents, often just after 1 activation. Clearly the deck has many ways to increase your life total. The problem is that's not going to stop your opponents from attacking you, and in fact, if you're climbing too high, they may consider you a threat. Fortunately, the deck has a suite of fog effects to keep other players off your back. Haze Frog. Flash and Fog Frog and frustrate your foes. Angel Song. You can either cash this in for a card or save yourself from a deadly attack. Respite, Riot Control, and Blunt the Assault tick up your life total when you use them. Alright, we've discussed the cards that can gain life, as well as the fogs that can keep you in the game. But now what? The deck certainly won't win by life points alone, so let's cover the deck's threats. Archon of Redemption. A lot of your powerful creatures in this deck fly, so when you call in the Air Force, it may as well come with some life gain. Angelic Skirmisher and Victory's Herald grant powerful abilities to your entire team. Battle Grace Angel. Make one of your mightiest creatures even mightier and grant it the power of lifelink. Palaka Worm gains life, smashes face, and replaces itself when it dies. Phantom Neshoba. This guy's resiliency makes him a remarkable blocker as well as attacker. And did I mention lifelink? Ajani's Pridemate. He starts as a bear, but it won't be long before he's gained a large amount of counters. Ageless Entity. I'll see your Ajani's Pridemate and raise you a creature that can grow exponentially bigger in the same amount of time. Voracious Worm. So I'll start my second main phase by tapping for a green and a colorless. Does anybody have any extra dice? Sarah Avatar. Now here's the all-star creature of the deck. This lady's power and toughness can reach new levels of ridiculous. If she enters the battlefield while Trostani is around, she doubles your life total, and she refuses to go away unless exiled. Loxodon Warhammer and Behemoth Sledge. Suit up any creature to become a trampling, life-linking beater. Armadillo Cloak. Along the same lines as Noble Purpose, this aura doesn't grant lifelink, so feel free to throw it on a creature who already has that keyword. If you want to be especially cheeky, put it on a creature that an opponent controls so you can gain life off the damage they cause. True Conviction and Collective Blessing. The turn you play either of these enchantments is likely the turn you start eliminating opponents. Another way of taking advantage of Trostani is to use her ability to copy your tokens. While this deck is by no means a token deck, there are several ways to produce tokens. Druidic Satchel. Open it up and see what's inside. Life, land, or saprolings, whatever you find, it's sure to make you smile. Trading Post. Another versatile artifact that can get you exactly what you need at the time you need it. It also combos well with Angelic Accord. Gain 4 life, get an angel. Simple but effective. Feed the Pack. Try pitching a Serra avatar to this enchantment for a howling good time. Phyrexian Processor. Remember that combo with Angelic Chorus we promised earlier? When coupled with either Chorus or Trostani, all it takes is one activation of the processor to gain back the life you just paid, and every minion token summoned afterward or copied with Trostani puts you into the hundreds very, very quickly. What is a commander deck without mana ramp and card draw? Gyre Sage. She has the potential to produce a lot of mana, and a lot of high toughness creatures can evolve her pretty easily. Ondu Giant. Rampant growth on a good-sized body. Rites of Flourishing. More land, more cards, and more chances your opponents will leave you alone so they can take advantage of it too. Carven Caryatid, Seanal Woodreaders, Wall of Blossoms, and Wall of Omens make blockers while drawing cards. Harmonize. That line of text looks awfully good on a green card. Survival Cache. If you're not drawing cards off this sorcery both times it resolves, then something has gone horribly, horribly wrong. Book of Wrath. You'll probably have life to spare for this repeatable draw effect. Well of Lost Dreams. This is by far the best draw engine in the deck, letting you sink your mana into additional cards. Skull Mulcher eats up excess creatures to refill your hand. Momentous Fall. In response to your removal spell, I'm going to turn my creature into a lot of cards and a lot of life. Razor Hippogriff. Not exactly card draw, but still a helpful form of recursion to get back important artifacts and gain life. The last few cards in the deck provide some much-needed removal and utility. Luminate Primordial is like a budget Elish Norn, since he has the same body that she does and removes creatures. Faith's Fetters. Arrest for any permanent. Put it on an opponent's Necropotence to make them cry. Loxodon Hierarch. This pachyderm brings a reasonably sized body, a little boost of life, and can save your team from many wrath effects. Elixir of Immortality. Toss your graveyard back in to keep things rolling, and of course, gain a little life. The deck's lands. Arctic Flats, Bant Panorama, Elfheim Palace, Evolving Wilds, Grasslands, Greypelt Refuge, Naya Panorama, Selesnya Guildgate, Selesnya Sanctuary, Terramorphic Expanse, 16 Plains, and 12 Forests. The non-budget acquisitions. Serra Ascendant, the ultimate turn 1 dream. She's a massive beater for only 1 mana. Baneslayer Angel. You'd be surprised at how often the protection from demons and dragons can be relevant in a commander game. Ajani Goldmane and Ajani Caller of the Pride. Both versions of Ajani are strong in this deck, but they shine in different situations. Use Goldmane for raw life gain power, and use Caller of the Pride once you've made some scary creatures. Archangel of Thune. She pumps your whole team, and she's an infinite combo with Spike Feeder. Remove a counter to gain 2 life, then get the counter right back from Archangel's triggered ability. Sylvan Library. Another powerful draw engine, and paying 8 life to draw 2 extra cards per turn is usually not going to be a big deal. Felidar Sovereign and Test of Endurance. These cards won't make you popular, but they will get you some wins out of nowhere. Having a high life total is fun and all, but there are a few cards that can completely wreck your strategy. If you build this deck, plan accordingly based on what other people in your area play. Several cards exist that can shut off your ability to gain life or even punish you for doing so. If you frequently see these types of effects, consider playing cheap answers like Revoke Existence, Return to Dust, or Unravel the Aether. Other things to watch out for are Voltron Generals, decks related to a milling strategy, or creatures that give you poison counters. Even with an arbitrarily high life total, you'll still die to 21 commander damage, an empty library, or 10 poison counters. Plan accordingly if you think you'll face those decks. And then there's this guy. A lot of black decks include this Planeswalker, and he can unravel all of your efforts and leave you extremely vulnerable. If he pops up all the time on opposing battlefields, there are a few enchantments of your own to consider. Nevermore or Voidstone Gargoyle can stop him from ever seeing the light of day, and they're very affordable as well. After all, you don't want all your hard work to be undone by a simple Planeswalker activation. You should build this deck if early aggression isn't your thing. You want to turn your big creatures and tokens into a massive advantage one way or another. You enjoy many effects that trigger off gaining life. You like to see your life total rise to astronomical levels. Trostani is a defensive general that can quickly put your life total out of reach, allowing you to find and utilize your most potent threats. The deck has a great deal of stability and can withstand most attacks with either your plethora of fog effects or more life gain. It's not particularly fast or flashy, but it makes up for that with a great deal of synergy and advantageous interactions. Plus, it can lead to some amazing stories concerning the size of a Serra avatar or the amount of life you paid to a Phyrexian processor. What's your favorite core set ability? Let me know in the comments below, and as always, thanks for watching.